We are on the record calling people of the state of Michigan versus Lydia Renee Nance, Nance. Today is Saturday, December 23rd, 2023. It is 10:28 a.m. Again, I am Magistrate Stefani Godsey with the 55th District Court. Miss Nance appears before the court via video conference from the Ingham County Jail. And Miss Nance, let me turn to Mr. Austin. Mr. Austin, can we get your appearance? Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Magistrate, and thank you. Jared Austin appearing today on behalf of Miss Nance, who appears with us remotely from the Ingham County Jail. My appearance is limited to this hearing and this hearing only. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. Miss Nance, the court has before it a felony criminal complaint against you. That complaint alleges that on or about December 21st of 2023, at 1401 Ravenswood Drive in Lansing Township, Ingham County, and state of Michigan, that the defendant did, contrary to law, in count 1, did murder Brooke Lawson. This is charged as homicide, open murder, statutory short form. It is a felony, punishable by up to life in prison, DNA to be taken upon arrest. Count 2 alleges the defendant did make an assault upon Autumn Hansberger with the intent to commit the crime of murder. Assault with intent to murder is a felony punishable by up to life in prison or any number of years. Also, DNA to be taken upon arrest. Counts 3 and 4 are identical charges. They are felony firearm charges. Count 3 alleges the defendant did carry or have in her possession a firearm, that being a pistol, at the time that she committed or attempted to commit another felony, that being second-degree murder. A felony firearm is punishable by what is referred to as 2 years flat, 2 years consecutively with and preceding any additional term of imprisonment imposed for the underlying felony or attempted felony conviction. This penalty also includes, penalty provisions also include mandatory forfeiture of weapon or device. Count 4 is also a felony firearm charge, this time referencing the assault with intent to murder as what we call the predicate or underlying felony. Same penalty provisions, 2 years consecutively with and preceding any additional term of imprisonment for the underlying felony, and mandatory forfeiture of weapon or device. Ms. Nance, do you understand the charges as they have been read to you here this morning, as well as the maximum possible penalties?
Yes, ma'am.
You have many rights in your case. You have the right to have an attorney present with you at each and every court appearance, as well as if you are questioned by police. And Mr. Austin, Ms. Nance is at least at this time applying for the public defender's office.
That is correct, Your Honor. She may be ultimately planning and working on retaining counsel, but for now she is requesting the office of the public defender. And of course, when and if retained counsel is brought on board, there will be a substitution.
Okay, thank you. I've made that note in the file. You have other rights, Ms. Nance. You have the right to remain silent. Anything that you state verbally or place in writing may be used against you in a court of law. You are presumed to be innocent of these offenses unless and until you are proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to demand a jury trial. Because today is a Saturday and our court is not open to the public, I am not able to tell you which judge is going to be assigned your case. It will either be our Chief Judge, the Honorable Donald Allen Jr., or Judge Richard Hillman. I can tell you that you are scheduled for 2 felony court dates at our court. You have a probable cause conference scheduled Thursday, January 4, 2024 at 8:30 in the morning. And then your case is scheduled for a preliminary examination on Tuesday, January 9th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Again, Mr. Austin, because those are not the common dates due to the holiday schedule, PCC is Thursday, January 4 at 8:30, exam Tuesday, January 9, 9:30. If you are not in custody, Miss Nance, you are required to report for each of these court dates in person at our courthouse. Any questions there? Okay. All right. And our courthouse is attached to the jail that you're in right now in the Ingham Justice Complex in Mason, Michigan. Okay. Mr. Austin on bond.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. What I can say for Miss Nance is that it sounds like she is a lifelong resident of our community with extensive family ties to the community and to the area with her parents, sibling, nieces, and nephews residing here. She is also gainfully employed and has been working full-time at the same place for at least the last year. And my information and belief, as far as I can tell, Your Honor, she has zero prior criminal history, at least as an adult. Understanding, of course, that Your Honor, that this is one of the few offenses where the court can deny bond. However, I would ask the court to consider granting Miss Nance a reasonable cash bond for the reasons that I have stated. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Austin. We're going to go over a few of your bond conditions, not all of them, but a few of them. If you are released from custody while this case is pending, Miss Nance, you're going to receive what's called a pretrial release order. That document's going to list all of your bond conditions, the rules that you must follow while you're out of custody while the case is pending. But we're going to go over some of them now. You are required to report to Ingham County Pretrial Services within 48 hours of your release from custody, should that happen. That's just a phone call that you place to that agency within 2 days of your release. They are the agency that will be supervising you if you are out on bond while the case is pending, and you'll be provided their contact information. Additionally, you are not to purchase, possess, or consume any alcohol, no illegal drugs, no marijuana. You'll be subject to random drug and alcohol testing. Very importantly, you are absolutely prohibited from purchasing or possessing any dangerous weapons of any kind. That especially prohibits firearms and ammunition. You cannot be anywhere near a firearm. Any questions so far about any of those conditions?
No, ma'am.
All right. Additionally, you are not to assault, harass, intimidate, beat, molest, wound, stalk, or threaten Autumn Hansbarger. And starting now and until further order of this court, you are to have absolutely no contact, direct or indirect, with Autumn Hansbarger. No phone calls, no jail phone calls, not in person, in writing, social media, texting, emailing. You are also prohibited from trying to have anybody else get a message to Miss Hansbarger on your behalf. That's indirect contact. It is also prohibited. I am required by law to inform you if you are found to have violated the court's no contact order, you would be immediately rearrested and could thereafter be charged with contempt of court, a separate criminal offense. Any questions about those conditions?
No, ma'am.
Great. When the court sets bond, it must consider two separate factors. It can consider other factors, but it must by law assess two. Those two factors are whether Ms. Nance poses any risk of flight. Is she likely not to come to court? There is not an established criminal history that shows any prior failures to appear, but at the same time, Mr. Austin, we do have two life offense charges pending that can certainly impact that factor. The other factor is public safety, whether the court finds that Ms. Nance poses a risk of a threat to the public or any specific members of the public. And on that factor, there are grave concerns. The allegations are that we have one deceased person who died from a gunshot wound and another person who was shot. Of course, those are concerning factors to this court. The court does not find that this case should be a no bond, but it's going to be a $200,000 cash or surety bond. Ms. Nance, that will give you the opportunity to use a bondsman or a bonding agency so that you can post bond. Anything additional here, Mr. Austin?
Nothing additional on behalf of Ms. Nance, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Nance, do you have any questions?
No.
All right. That's going to be all on the record. Thank you very much, Mr. Austin. And have a